Hello, everyone. I am so glad to be back in camp. I hope you're glad to be here too. Week 3, can you believe it? Oh my goodness, season to be freezing. I'm so excited. It's only about 10 degrees cooler here than it was a little while ago, but it still feels good. So I am really grateful to be here today, and I am grateful that all of our windstorm didn't blow us totally away. We have just a little damage to our roof and only exterior things, so I'm grateful it didn't come in. And my hugs go out to you who are all suffering from the different challenges that 2020 has brought us. Can you believe it? Somebody was joking the other day and said, "What? We have to turn our clocks back in November? I don't want one more hour of 2020. I agree. So, but we'll make the best of it while it's here. And today, our card, I love that little church. It is a good reminder to me of how many blessings that we do have in spite of the challenges that we all face as well. So, today, our card, I don't know if you can tell, but those trees are embossed. Sometimes that's hard to photograph well, but we're going to work on embossing and then we'll build the card. So I first want to just demonstrate embossing to you, and I'm going to use template L9462. It is one of my favorites. And you take it out of the package and then you can twist it apart like this. So then you could use these as frames. You can go around the outside edge. There's so much versatility with these templates. So let me show you quickly how to do embossing. So the first thing you need is a light source. Now you could do it on the window. Honestly, when I'm just doing a quick card, I do it on my window, and I have learned that if it's dark outside, just turn on the porch light and do it through that. So we have what we call embossing tissues, and it just makes your tool glide a little easier on your paper. So it's just a little sheet you can rip out that you can keep with your embossing stuff. And so what you do is just rub that over the paper. Oh, but I mustn't forget, you put the right side down on top of your template. And now you take your tool, and I like to use the big end for all my projects. But if you like the smaller end better, that's great too. And all you do is just go around that outside edge. I was talking too much while I was showing you. If I wanted to do these little dots, I can just simply just kind of push my tool through those little dots. And because these are made of metal, if you miss one, if you go out of the lines, it doesn't even matter. And then you can fill with your fingers if you've gotten them all. And I could even go around this outside edge. Can you see that? I guess we have to turn it sideways to try and get the lighting. Can you see how that popped the paper? It is so fun. And then there's another trick, and that is scuffing. I'm going to turn off the light box because I think it'll be a little easier. And just by scuffing, see how it just scratches off the color of the paper and brings out the embossing even more. Just adds another dimension. So that template, it came with these little things. I had already done the little flower and the heart, and so you can just see how quickly you can make a cute little embellishment for your card. So embossing, quick and easy. Now we're going to get on to the trees for our project today. I thought I would just show you how to emboss on a simpler project so you could see how easy it really is. So again, I'm rubbing my wax paper on my template, or on my paper, and the right side is down. Now for this project, I do not want the star or the pot. I am just going to do the tree. And like I was showing you earlier, it's just the outside edges. So that's what I'm doing, just running my tool. Now I'm pressing a little harder than if I were writing with a ballpoint pen, but not too hard. And you'll get the hang of it. All I'm doing is just pressing the edges of the paper up against the edge of the metal template. Okay, so now I'm going to scuff it. And this is just a nail file. It works great. We also sell scratchers that are a little coarser. And I am just rubbing on the design. You see how the edges that I had embossed are popping out, which is kind of a cool effect for a snowy tree outside a church. So what I've done, I've embossed the tree, then I've scratched it. And what I like to do is I do all three, for this case, because I'm using 3 trees for the card. And so I did all 3 trees. I embossed them all, and then I scuffed them all, and then I used a little bottle of stickles. But with the stickles, it's kind of glue and glitter all at once. And you just squeeze the bottle, and you can kind of see it coming down the tube, and then you just want to put this little glittery glue stuff, like it's snow glistening on top of the branches. And you can put it on as thick or as thin as you like. Can you see that? And it doesn't have to be exactly on the right spot. It's just giving the illusion of some sparkle or glitter. So, and this takes a couple of hours to dry. So that's why I suggest doing however many trees you want to do, and then come back with your glitter, and then let those all sit and dry for a couple of hours. Then you can come back and cut them out. I haven't even showed you the card we're making. I guess you saw it at the beginning. So we have the card we're making. And here are our supplies. So we have a new card cutout, number 88. And then we have our envelope wraps, our envelope itself, and it has really nice little shimmery gold snowflakes and dots. And then the reverse side is our alabaster gesso with some holly leaves. So either way you make it, it's a cute coordinating envelope. And then we use our garden moss green forest gesso and our alabaster fresh gesso. So those are the things we're going to be using. Just as we did with the trees, I went ahead and I took the card cutout and I added glitter along the top of the I guess it's not a chimney, a steeple. Added some glitter here along the top of the roof, top of the windows, and then here on the steeple, because this is the piece we cut out separately to show the dimension, just to add a little more dimension to our card. So I did that earlier, so it's all dried, and I have cut out all of the pieces. And I realized I hadn't gotten my little trimmer out yet. So I've cut out all my pieces except for one tree. Now I've done the same as what we talked about earlier, is I embossed it first, then I scuffed it, added the stickles, and now I am just cutting. And I just wanted to remind you that you turn your paper and not the scissors. It makes cutting out these fancy things so much easier. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just giving the illusion of a little fir tree outside this church. And just the little cuts make it feel like it's a little snowy covered tree out there. And if it's not perfect, that's okay too, because we all know trees aren't perfect. But they still look beautiful. Be covered with the snow. And for many of us, that'll be here before we know it. So I just wanted you to see how quick and easy you can cut those out. And just twisting the paper and not twisting your scissors so much. So we have all of our pieces here. I'm going to go ahead and cut my card. Okay, so I have my paper. I'm going to cut it to a half sheet size, which is 5.5 inches. So I measured that using the little arm here. And then I'm just simply going to fold it in half. Okay, so I have all my pieces cut out, and now I want to create the dimension. I really like the doors and the steeple standing out off of the overall building. So I'm going to use some mounting tape. And cut me a few pieces. Now, obviously, the steeple is really hard because it is such a fine piece. So what we're going to do is I am just going to use a little glue dot. I think I found the end. And so when I use a glue dot like this, there is just a little bit that sticks outside, but it's so easy to just fold it in so it doesn't show. And it does create a little dimension still. Oh, but it is advised to take off the little label liners first. And now we just fit those pieces on top. Easier to start kind of with the steeple. So I've just applied a little bit of pressure there. And now you can see we've got our mounting tape that giving us dimension here and here. So here's our card we're working on. We might as well go ahead and do the holly. So when I did the holly, when I added the stickles to the holly, I tried to do it so there were some snow, it would be on the top. So you just want to position it like so. And if you'll notice, there is a little bit of a dimension. So you can simply just kind of pinch. And it just adds just a little more dimension that I think gives some more interest to your card. So let me just go ahead and I'm going to get some more little strips of mounting tape. And for each piece of holly, I think this church just turned out so sweet. I really like the feeling it gives. I feel like we could just be right in a Hallmark movie right now. Some of you may think Hallmark movies are goofy, but I kind of enjoy watching them now and again. Okay, so I'm just going to add a glue dot for my holly leaf, and I'll just position that, apply a little pressure, and I had also put glitter on that on when it was still the sheet, so I had all of the little glitter stickles on my card. Now we're going to go ahead and build our card, and we're just going to position the church where we think we want it. And now we're going to take the trees. Oh, but I did want to mention that you can also add a little more depth by adding some of the inkers. This one I think is called Forest Moss. And I just took it along the edges and just kind of gave it a little more definition. Now, of course, you could do more inking than this. But I just kind of liked that little bit of definition for the edges. And you could put a little bit on the embossing part too. But you can see how that's just added just a little bit. But I think it really makes it look nice. And I've also learned if you get a little too much inky, you can take a scuffer, scuff it right off, so you don't have to be too afraid. So I really liked, I'm going to take this card off the envelope so we can work with it a little easier. I really liked having some trees that looked bigger, some trees that were behind and in front. So for this tree, I just tucked it in and didn't go all the way to the bottom. It's just tucked in here. And then I positioned this tree in front of it, but over to the side a little. So it kind of covered, it didn't have any branches that went down behind. And then this tree over here, I also tucked in. Getting stuck on all my little edges there. But you can see how it just gives you a nice layered look. So let's go ahead and position all of our pieces. And I'm just going to first put a little bit of mounting tape on the bottom of the church because I want to still be able to slide things in. But I want it to be in position so everything can relate to it. Okay, and then we'll do our tree that is going to be the tall tree in the back. So place that one in next. So about like so feels good. But just gently tap that in place in case we do need to move it. I will go ahead and add my mounting tape. You know, some people, once they emboss their trees, like their little row of trees, they place their mounting tape on the tree before they even cut it out. So it's already positioned, so it's a little easier to position all at once. So that tree did stick over the edge a little bit, but I think that looks about right. And we have one more tree to do quickly. We'll tuck this one in behind. And look how simply we've just added a little, the little trees around the church. I love it. And I love this saying too. Oh, come all ye faithful. I almost started singing, but I'm not a singer, so good thing I didn't. So I just kind of curled the edges up a little bit. I did not add mounting tape. And I'm just positioning one here. I'm going to curl the Oh Come All You Faithful, the All You Faithful part, and give it a little bit of dimension just with the bending of the paper. Now you couldn't use mounting tape on those two if you want to add a little more dimension. But one of my most favorite things that is so surprising, these are so cute, but just adding a few little touches on the inside, it just makes your card just as happy to open up as to receive. So I'm just going to place Remember the Season, or Remember the Reason. I'm going to put in my little holly leaf, and these are all still from the same card cutout. And I don't know if I wanted to put it down here or up there. And again, this is a teeny tiny holly berry, but so easy to use the little glue dots. So look, you can finish off the inside of the card just as beautiful as the outside. So I am so glad we're back in camp, and I can't wait for tomorrow. Happy camping, and we will see you soon.